YouTube viewers, it's Fernitays. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take this wig, client wig. She doesn't like this light brown color, and she does have one like it, and I thought it was kind of nice for her, but she didn't like it. So we're going to take it, we're going to dye it, we're going to make it dark. It's supposed to be a human hair wig, and we're going to try to painstakingly try to get it up in the top of those roots there. So we're going to work on that, and we'll keep you posted, and you follow. So we're starting here at the nape of it, of this wig, and we're just putting just the tint right there. Even if we get it on the threads that's in there, that's fine too, because it'll actually help cover up some of that light blonde look. And we're going to work it all the way through all this hair, get it on there, and we're going to just dye it, and hopefully we can transform this color and give her something a little darker so she can wear this style. And we're going to show you now and finish. So it's a piece of work trying to get up in here because everything's so tiny. You definitely want to separate that blonde hair away from the hair you want to color. So definitely got to get that out of the way up there. See there? And this is a little bit in here because it's blending in with the blonde up there. So we're going to get to that eventually. Right now we just want to focus on what we see, which is mostly this reddish brown. It's like a reddish brown, like a number 4. Sorry, 36. It's just pretty light color. So, and what I'm putting on her is, and I will show you the color at the end. I've had questions about what I use at the end of my products that I use, relaxers, whatever I'm using. People want to see what I'm using at the end. So what I will do is show you what I'm using to make this, to put some tint in here. But I did take them use, I used a 5, no, I used a 2N, which is like an off black color with a little dab of black in here, if you want to really try to cover up as much of that red as we can. So separating the hair, the way the wig was made, some of the parts on it kind of bluntly stopped and then it picked up somewhere else. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right there, the wig was made and it stopped right there, and then there's this gap right here. So we're just going to work that color in. We still move that blonde out of the way. Just keep the blonde out of the way if you're going to tint a human hair wig, and it has to be human hair. I wouldn't try it on nothing else. I did try some synthetic wig for her, and I'll tell you, I didn't do nothing but stain it. It really didn't give it much color, but they say there's stuff out there for synthetic products or synthetic wigs and stuff that you can actually tint them somehow. But that's another day in time. We'll deal with that another time. Right now, we're focusing on this one, because she will be here to get this hair, and we want this baby ready. So right now, we're going to continue adding some tint to this to darken this down. And then we'll let it rest for approximately about 30 minutes. It can stay on a little longer because this is a dead head. So it can use all the time it can get to give it the best penetration possible. She said, I don't care how dark it is, as long as it's not that color. Now I'm just going to comb this through each little section here if I can get there. And move her out a little bit so you can see. And there's a little gap there, so we're going to get in there and get that color there too. So you're going to take a fine-tooth comb and go in there and do that. Make sure you got everything in your color. And then we're going to comb it through to make sure everything blends. And we haven't decided we're going to work that in on the top, but we'll get there. Well, it's good to take a comb and go back because you can always miss spots. As we did right there. And right there. Okay, so we're going to keep putting this on. Okay, so what I did, just to let you know that, how did I know this was going to really take, because when they say human hair, sometimes I don't know what kind of stuff that is, but it don't always take color. And then everything on this little tag, there's nowhere in here where it says it takes color. It just said shampoo, you can use 350-degree heat. That was it. So I said, okay, well, it is some kind of human hair like product. So what I did was I did a little test strand on the very bottom here and let it sit for a little bit to see how it would take. And so it seems to be going okay. So that's why I said, let me go on ahead with the color. So far so good. We're doing okay. So we just worked it on through. Now we're just going to comb it through. Okay, so what I had to do is I lowered my mannequin head. I put plastic around the hair I've already put color to. And now I'm going to take my color and I'm just going to whisk it through there, focusing mostly on the roots area, and then whisk the rest up inside here. And just kind of freehand striping color just to tone down some of the blonde in there. So it won't have so much, some of the darker hair. So it'll actually come, these things will match. And then eventually I'm going to pull this down and let those two colors come together on the bottom. But right now we're just going to work it from the top here and whisk it through. I'm just whisking it right on in there. And then take your brush. If you're doing a wig, that is. Or anybody, really. It'll probably work, I'm sure, on both ways. But this is what I'm going to do to make this work. So we're working it through to give her that. A little bit of brown may not be too bad. It'll just give it a little an effect, like it'll look like a little sunburst or something like that. It kind of reminds me of something that I did so many years ago back in Philadelphia, yay. So anyhow, I'm going to keep working on her and getting her where we want her to be. And like this piece here, it looks like it's just a little bit of color there. Not too much. Yeah, it's just a little bit. So that's not too much. And then right up into here too. Same thing. I'm doing the same thing. But I definitely want to keep the blonde in there. We definitely want that blonde hair. Want that blonde look. So she wants to keep that effect of the blonde. So I call it painstaking because you're talking about going around hair that's already been colored and has something else going on with it. So, but we'll see what comes out. We shall keep working at it. So as I'm up in the very top of this, I'm actually just trying to focus on what I'm seeing, like the most of the brown that I'm trying to tone down, and just try to get it to work its way in there. I'll show you what I've got on the other side here. Like over here, same thing, that little pieces of brown that's up in there. I just want to kind of get those under control. And this one, the top doesn't seem too extremely bad. I mean, it seems pretty easy. You just got to find all those little loose ends that has extra pieces of brown or mixed in there, that's streaked in there, because you don't want to leave too many of those hanging around. So, but so far, it's hanging in. It's doing okay so far. We're just still working in the rooty area. This top isn't too bad because this is mostly stopping like right up in the area there, whereas other places had like little wispies of streaks. So this part doesn't seem too extremely out of control. So we might be able to get away with just working that up inside there. A little bit of toning in there. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually just going through and checking areas that may have gotten missed. And why? It's because the hair has so many different layers up inside here. Like right inside there, if you notice that little area right there, there's a little bit of light brown. So we're just gonna go in there and tap that a little bit with some color. Just put a little color right up inside there. And right there. And right there. And right there. Yeah, because we don't want it to see too much. She didn't want to see any brown. She wants it dark. Yeah, see, there's like still some little pieces that may have gotten missed. So you just go in there and touch it up. I think because too, when you're doing like a little, I guess any kind of wig, when you're doing any kind of this little tiny hairstyle, little tiny hairs, you want to make sure you can get in there and get all those little pieces if you can catch a hold to them. Okay, so we're going to let this rest for a little bit, and we will rinse her out and be back to show you how the color turned out. So the hair is actually processing right now, and I'm leaving it for like 30 minutes. I have the plastic here to keep this blonde from hitting that part, making it dark on the ends, because you know we're dealing with the wig here. So I will let you know where the wig came from and all as we get done. Okay, so I've rinsed the hair out, and so far this is what we have. The top is all colored, if you notice, and the blonde is still there, and the back is now very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set it in the dryer and let it air dry, and we'll be back to show you. Okay guys, so here's the wig dried. I let it air dry in the dryer, and it came out pretty nice. So because this part back here is so much shorter for the client, she wants it to be longer because she does have a longer neck right inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on this mannequin's head, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do. I bought some quick weave, and I'm going to take the quick weave and put like this here across the bottom. So I'm actually going to take it from here to here and kind of work it right up underneath the bottom, so it'll give her some more hair around the neckline in the back. So, and this is the one I bought. If you're familiar with that one, it's the quick weave and 100% human hair, 28 piece. So what I have to do, I'm going to have to just take this hair off, this wig off, and I have to actually pin up all this out of the way. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to pin this up, and then I'm going to start stitching a little bit of that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking, I found, like, this is that hair I was showing you. I found the longest piece in there, and it kind of curls a little bit on the bottom. And I went through the very bottom row of the wig, and I'm sewing actually 4 tracks right there on that bottom to give her that thickness down under here, so it'll fall on her neck. And I'm taking it on the very last bottom row of that. And all I'm doing is just going to throw this in here, but I'm going through all thickness, so I'm going to go through each layer of the hair, of the tracked hair, all 4 layers, so I can make sure I can catch all that inside there. And I'm just going, and see, this is some tough stuff right here, because you got to go through all this thickness in here, so just be careful not to stick yourself. And if you can get through it like I got through it, and I'm just working it in there, and I'm just going to keep doing this. And so what I will do is I will show you just a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to show you how it looks toward the end. I don't know if the customer will allow me to show this on her with you guys, so if I can, I will do it. If I can't, I'll just show you how it looks when it's completed. And at least if I can get the back of her neck, that's basically what we're really focusing on how the back of the neck appears for her. And all I'm doing is I'm sewing this on a loop-de-loop. I'm not sewing it with a knot, and I'm doing that. I'm just basically just going round and around, if you notice there. So if you notice, I'm just going like that. And if you can see that, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going right up inside there. So I'm going through all thickness of all the hair, as I mentioned, and I'm going in like that. And like I said, this is a little tough right up inside here. But first of all, there's a piece of Velcro. All right, got that out of the way. Doesn't mean it's going to be easier, though. So you still want to go up inside and see if you can get up in there. There I go. I got it. And so there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue just here. I'm doing this bottom part, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to take some and go up and a little bit past that too, up inside here. And you'll see, because if you notice, this wig is very, very thin. If you notice, it's very thin. You can see like right inside there, real thin. And she has really, her own hair is very, very thick. So we thought maybe we would just try to fill this in a little bit and give her some more body or some more density up inside there, just so she'll feel much more comfortable. So I will continue at this, and I'll be keeping you tuned in as to how far we've gotten and what we're doing here. So if you notice, this is what I'm doing here. I'm actually going through all thickness as I mentioned, and I am just picking up that hair, that real thin track of hair right there, and I'm just going right up underneath there, and I'm pulling the thread through. Okay, and I'm not pulling it too tight because when you do, it'll make it where the client won't be able to wear the wig. We don't want them to have to take all this hair back out and restart all over. So it's best to keep it kind of loose and just make it so you can get it on their head and adjust it then. Okie dokie. So we're going to take the next row and we're just going to go right up inside there just gently because this is a piece of like stretch fabric and we don't want to take away that stretch. So I'm just going to just put like a gentle little stitch right there because when she puts this on, we want to be able to make it work. And the reason why we're putting it on up on the sides too, because when she did try it on, the wig didn't even, the sides were a little too short. And I don't know if it's because of her own hair making it bump out or what, but, or just the size of her head. Sometimes the head makes a big difference too. And when we put this on, the wig was actually leaving a lot of space on the sides, and we didn't like that, and she didn't like it either. I didn't like the way the ears were popping out and so forth. So that's why we said we'll just add some hair. And I'm just pushing this in here, but I'm not making it too tight because, again, like I said, we don't want it to be where we can't get this back on her head either. So, and I'm just going to take this and go right up inside there. And I am going right behind that stitch right there just so I could actually just catch it just so. I'm making it just lightly stitched. Then I am trying to find the other track that I saw up inside there. There's another track in there, but you can come right over and go right up underneath that and just gently again take and pick up another piece of the hair, a little bit of the netting. And you notice I'm just sewing a loop-de-loop and I'm just lightly doing it because it'll give it some flex. So when the customer has the wig on and worrying about it being tight, it shouldn't be too tight because it'll actually, when you do the loop-de-loop, don't do the loop and then do the knot inside there with the weave track because your chances of it being too tight and regretting, you got to take it all back out and start all over. Ugh, it's like pulling teeth. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just doing it this way and I'm making it gently. I'm gently doing it just tight. I'm not making it tight at all. I'm making it very lightly on top of the hair surface. So there we go. And we're going right through there. Yep. So I'm going to work my way around. So what I'm doing is I'm staying on that track right there. And I'm actually bringing the hair right on that same track. And I'm not doing nothing too much different with this at all. I'm just trying, and I'm not making it, as I said, tight. I'm just keeping it where it's still flexible. But I'm just going right on top of that track. It's very tiny if you notice. The track is very little. So we're just going right up inside there. And doing it just like that, loop-de-loop. So what I'm going to do is continue taking this right on around and do the same thing to that point as I did to this point. So it'll be even on both sides because you don't want to have the head of your client looking like she got too much hair on one side and not enough on the other. So it definitely takes a moment. And it can be painstaking because it's so tiny and you're not working on a real head. You work on a wig, so it can be a little bit painstaking, but you can get it. Time consuming, I should say, but sounds more like it. Okay. So this is what we came up with so far. We added it here to the back, gave some length. And now the real thing is going to be when I put it on her. See how it looks. So we don't really know just yet until she wears it. In a couple of days she'll be in. And then we'll go from there. And I will let you guys see that when it's all done, when it's on her head. I feel this in really good back here because she has a lot of hair, and I didn't want her to have this little thinness back here compared to what she's used to. So we shall stay tuned. So this is my finish. The customer allowed me to show it. Turned out beautiful. We curled it as you notice, it was all straight from coming out of the dryer, and she'll continue to turn, and you can see the side, and you can see the back. And the length came out perfect for the nape area because she wanted her neck to cover her neck more. So that's the finish. So if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe. Fern from the House of Glam. Bye. So the wig we used in this video is from Especially Yours human hair wig, and it's definitely a human hair wig, so it dyed very beautifully.